Hello, I'm going to show you how to make a texture mod. For example, in this video I will be dyeing Rivet's scarf blue instead of orange. So the first thing we are going to do before anything else is clearing our TOC files. I'm going to explain what that is and how to do it now. So first you open Steam, and then we will go to Manage and Browse Local Files. Then this folder should open. It has all the game's assets and files in it. And we have to delete this TOC file. And if you have a TOC back file as well, you delete that as well. We can close this now. And now we right click on the game again. Now we go to Properties, Installed Files, and now we verify this game's files. Verify integrity of game files. So what we just did is we are clearing our TOC files. TOC stands for Table of Contents. So we're making sure that the game's assets are up to date and not influenced by any mods that we may have previously had installed. So this is very important to do before modding, just to make sure that everything works correctly. Okay, now it's done and it says one file failed to validate and will be reacquired, which is exactly what it's supposed to say. So now we can close Steam completely and we're gonna get started. So now that that's done, we're going to need several tools. All of these tools are linked in the description of the video. You can download them on my Google Drive. And now it's time to get started with Lockjaw. That's the first thing we're going to need. So we open the server exe, and now we see this IP address, the first one, the shorter one. We have to control left mouse click on that. And now we're asked to put in the TOC location. TOC means table of contents, so the TOC files have all the game's assets in it. And to enter it, we need to open Steam again. So, Rift Apart, Manage, Browse Local Files. And now we need to just copy this address. It should be TOC. I wanted to change the color of Rivet's scarf, so we're going to search for Rivet scarf texture. We're going to need the C textures. The C textures are basically the main textures that have the color in it that we want, and we need both the low quality texture, which is a lot smaller in size, and the high quality texture, which is 5 MB. To download it, we just save as, click on save as. And now we can completely close the browser and the application and also Steam. In our downloads folder, we have the asset that we just downloaded. I'm going to put this here for now. So now we have the low quality and the high quality sea texture of Rivet's scarf. And we need to edit the name of the high quality texture. I'm going to delete the 1 in the brackets. And now we need to add a lower line and then HD texture. It should be exactly like that. So Rivet Scarf, C, lower line, HD dot texture. So now comes the part that looks a bit complicated, but it really isn't, I promise. We need to do some very simple hex editing. So we open the hex editor, and now we drag and drop the low quality texture into the hex editor. It's important that it's the low quality one. This looks like a lot now, but we don't have to do much. So there are these magic values that we need to edit. These are the values of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. We need to use these magic values in order to be able to mod this, and we need to replace these values with these. And we can see here in the corner the very first 4 values are these that I have written down here, and we're going to replace them with the values from Marvel Spider-Man. And the same 4 values are again here. And we're going to replace these as well. And now we just save. Either you go to File and then Save. You can also just press Control S as a shortcut. Okay. Now we're going to minimize the hex editor and also the values because we're going to need those again. Now we open the next tool, the Spidey Texture Scaler. The Rift Apart game works well with tools that are meant for Spider-Man, since they're both made by Insomniac Games. So a few tools can just be used on Rift Apart. Okay, now that this is open, we import the original texture. We need to import the HD texture, and then we save it as a DDS. And this is what Rivet's scarf texture looks like. We need to open it with this program, paint.net. Now we can drag and drop the texture in here. This is Rivet's scarf. And now we save this DDS either as a JPEG or a PNG. PNG is better because it's higher quality. We just save it. And now we can look at it and we can edit it, of course. I use my normal art program, Paint Tool Sci. This is a very simple mod, so now I can just change the hue of the scarf to this bluish purple. That looks nice. I save it. And now we have to open the DDS file again. Drag and drop the edited image and add layer. Now we save this as a DDS again. Where is it? There. Direct draw surface. Oh, I forgot one step. That's very easy. I add a lowercase line and add modded so that it's clear which one will be the modded texture and which one is the original texture. And I don't want to overwrite the original. Oh yes, another step we need to ensure. So this setting can be different for every texture. The texture that I'm using right now uses BC7 RGB. Most C textures will use RGB. I can show you how to detect which setting you need. Now, we're saving this. Flatten. So, when I imported the texture to the Spidey texture scaler and saved it as a DDS file, the format is shown here. It says BC7 RGB. And when I saved it here as a DDS, BC7 RGB. So you need to look at what the Spidey texture scaler is telling you what the format is. So now that we have the modded DDS saved, we need to import into the Spidey texture scaler. And now we generate a texture file. Plop. We can close this for now. So now it generated a modded texture file that works in the game. We need to, however, edit the magic values back to the magic values of Rift Apart, because as you remember, we edited the magic values from Spider-Man Miles Morales into the file, so now we need to use the Rift Apart magic values again. Again, make sure to use the not HD texture. It has to be the low quality one for hex editing. So, put back the original Rift Apart values right here. And save. Control S for short. Now we have the modded texture file, but the question is, how do we get this modded texture file into the game? We need the modding tool for this. So to make things easy, we go to search and then again search. And now we search for rivet, scarf, texture, and we need this. Okay, so here we have the original in-game sea textures of Rivet Scarf, and we need to replace those with our modded texture. So first I'm going to replace the low quality one by right-clicking on it and then replace selected, and now I'm going to select the modded texture. I have to make sure it's not the HD one and that it's not the original one. I have to look exactly what it's called. Scarf C modded texture. Okay. And now the HD one. Replace selected again, same thing. And now I'm replacing the HD texture. So make sure C modded HD texture. Okay. Now I have replaced both of the original textures. I click on mod up here and pack it as a stage file. The stage file is essentially just the mod file. Put in my name. No, wait. Mod name, Rivet Scarf mod. My name. Here we can check again to make sure that we are replacing the right textures. Looks good. Now we pack it as a stage file. You have to name the stage file as well. I'm going to name it the same thing. Rivet Scarf mod. Save. Now we have the stage file and we just need to install the mod. Just like any other mod, we use Overstrike. We open Overstrike, we add the mod by clicking on the little plus. There it is. And Rivet Scarf mod, that's the one we just made. Install. And now I'm going to test it. Welcome to part 2 of the tutorial, where I'll show you how to import a 3D model from Rift Apart into Blender so you can check if your texture mod looks good, if it looks good. So again, we're going to start by opening Lockjaw. We open the server execute. We control left click on the ID and open the talk file. I want to check if the blue scarf looks good or if I want to adjust the color a bit, but of course it's a lot of work, or it would be a lot of work to make a mod just to see how it looks, and if I'm not happy then I would have to make the same mod again, adjust again. So it's easier to just open the model in Blender so I can check how the texture looks in Blender before I make it into an actual mod. So again, Rivet Scarf. Nope, that's wrong. I just want Rivet's model. Rivet model. Where is the normal Rivet model that I want? I want the normal Rivet model. There. Hero Rivet model, that's what it's called. It might need a while to load the download option here because it's quite big. Once it appears, save as, same with the texture. And now we have the model. But we can't open it yet in Blender. We need a Blender add-on. I will put the download link in the description as well. So, I have it downloaded already, right here. Now we're going to install this in Blender 3.6. It can also be 3.61 or 2, but you should use the latest stable version of Blender, which is 3.6. For this, I'm going to delete the pour, use this default cube, and now we have to install this add-on. How do we do that? Oh yeah, references. And now we click on install. And now I look for the folder on my overcrowded messy desktop. It's called IO Mesh Rift Apart. And I install this Python file. So I click on it, install add-on. Should say here that it's installed. And now I can import Rift Apart model. Perfect. Where is it? There. Hero Rivet model, that's what I want. It's going to take a while to load the model. Plop. It looks broken, but it isn't. When you import a model from the game into Blender, it loads all the LODs. LOD stands for level of detail, which means if you go further away from the character, then the quality or the detail of the character decreases. It'll get more polygons, it'll become more low poly the further you go away. The closer you come, the more detailed the character gets. This is to save, or to make the game run smooth. And now we're just going to delete all the LODs that do not have a 0 at the end. So the lower the number, the higher the quality of the model. The 0 LOD is the highest quality one. We just want that, so we're going to delete from 1 to all the way to 9. We select it all, and then we press X to delete. Now we just have the highest LODs. I'm into edit mode for some reason. Let's go into object mode. So, we want to see how the scarf looks. So, I'm going into the shader editor, and then I am going into the material properties, use nodes. I click on the little yellow circle on base color, and then I apply an image texture. I can just open a texture here. I can also go into the node and open the texture here, it doesn't matter. Then I go into the texture that I downloaded. It's here. This is the modded texture. If I want to see it, I need to go into the material shading. That's what it looks like. I can apply this one here too. God damn it. My desktop is too crowded. Where did the modding folder go? Help. Oh my god. Okay, so now I know what it looks like. What it would look like in the game. I think that's good. that's perfect. And well, that's the tutorial. This is just a useful tool to help make a texture mod. It is not necessary, but it's very handy if you're able to check in Blender how your texture is going to look. I did the same thing for my fancy Emperor Nefarious mod. I had his model loaded in Blender. He is very, very pink. Hold on. So as you can see, I made this mod I tested this mod out in Blender before I turned it into a mod, so that I could keep making small adjustments before I made it into the actual mod. If you want to know how I added the 3D effect, I just edited the end texture as well. The end texture stands for normal texture or normal map, and the normal map is responsible for a 3D look. So it'll reflect light and cast a shadow as if it were 3D, even though it is actually flat. So normal map editing can also be a fun bonus to a texture mod. So yeah, that's it.